Hey guys, what's up? It's Breton, and today we'll take a look at the Yuxin Little Magic version 2. This cube was released earlier in November, and it's supposed to provide an updated version of the popular Little Magic 3x3. In the box, you get a really big cube stand, the cube, an empty bit of cardboard, a pamphlet, and an adjustment tool. The first improvement over the version 1 is the glossy plastic. Yuxin seems to be the only company who realizes that glossy plastic is far superior to frosted or matte, and I thank them for that. Next, the YLM V2 has a spring compression system that actually has the current record for most levels of spring compression with 12 different positions. This means that the Little Magic V2 gives you the most granular spring adjustment out of any cube on the market, and the default setting is 7 instead of 1 like on most cubes with spring compression. Now let's take a look at the pieces. The centers have a square base which prevents center twists. The corner and edge have an interesting brick pattern on it, and the torpedo on the edge is very sharp. Now this is a budget cube, it's $11.95 at cubingoutloud.com. I want to review this cube setup as always, but because its price is so low, I also want to quickly talk about how surprisingly great it is with absolutely no adjustments or lubrication. Without any setup, this cube is way better than most. While the turning does feel a little dry and harsh, I'm still easily able to get my normal times on it, which just blows my mind, seeing as this is how well it performs without even touching the screws and springs and without any lube, just a little bit of breaking in. As with all Little Magic puzzles, the tensions are a little bit uneven, and you can see that when you test corner cutting on different layers, but it's not noticeable in solves. The cube is naturally quite fast, and at the default spring compression, it's overall quite snappy when turning. So to set it up, I first started by lubing the springs with Cubing Out Loud saxophone lube. I then made sure the screws were even and loose enough to allow for corner cutting past 45 degrees. The springs in the Little Magic V2 seem to be a little stiffer than most, so instead of having a spring compression system that ranges from soft and flexible to harsh and snappy, it goes from moderately snappy to very harsh turning. I generally prefer to have a more flexible spring compression and then fix the speed with lube, and that's what I did. I ended up using spring level 1, the softest option, and that roughly matches level 3 to 4 on Moyu spring system, which happens to be the exact setting I use on the RS3M. At this point, the cube was already really fast, but for piece lubrication, I used a lot of Moyu Lube V1 to make it even faster. I then used as much lawnmower and cherry bomb as I needed to make it the right speed. The result of this setup is a cube that's super buttery smooth, but the speed is still great. This cube is naturally quite snappy, and with the setup complete, faster turning results in a slightly muted, clicky feel. Overall, I'm a pretty big fan of the Yuxin Little Magic version 2. It's very usable out of the box, and it's great after setup. Although it no longer stands out as the king of budget 3x3s, it's an improvement over the first version in many ways. You can set it up to have a wide variety of feels by lubing it to your liking and using the spring compression system, and the glossy plastic makes it very easy to hold. The turning is smooth and clicky, and the cube just flows so well. I experience almost no lockups, especially during PLL algorithms, which is when most of my lockups tend to happen, even on some of my favorite cubes like the X-Men Tornado V2 or the Meilong M. The Little Magic V2 is now one of my favorite 3x3s, and after getting used to it, it has real potential to be one of the cubes I use the most. I don't have a specific main for 3x3, but this is one of the cubes I'll definitely be using for timed sessions. And at only $12 Canadian, I definitely see it as one of the best budget cubes out there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.